Are you a midlife woman and you've realized that you're not sure you can trust yourself anymore? Now lean in for a minute. I know this sounds weird because I know you've done a million things and you're like, trust myself, Jen, of course I can. But maybe you've made enough choices and gaslit yourself enough that now you're not so sure, right? That you made these choices and you got to the result that you thought you wanted and you went, is this it? Is this all there is? And isn't there more to my life? And if you're asking yourself that, then hi, my name is Jen, the founder and owner of Laughing Lotus Wellness. I'm a transformational midlife purpose coach. And what I do is work with women who are brilliantly successful. And they're asking themselves that very question, is there more? And my job is to help you say a resounding hell yes. Because there absolutely is more in midlife. And one of the things that we want to do is really redefine what midlife means to us, right? It's one of my passions and one of my foundations is this narrative that we have around midlife, and all it is a crisis. And I don't agree with that. I think that it is a really beautiful time of awakening. And so today we're going to be talking about trust in a second, but I want to talk about how I work with people because I think it's important for you to understand as a coach and mentor what I'm really doing is supporting women to get real clarity about where they are, what layers might be covering them because midlife is full of them. So layers like kids leaving the house, parents aging, relational changes, hormone changes, so many things going on, right? So in the layers of life, one of the things we want to do is kind of get clear because I think very often the clients that come to me feel like it's gotten foggy, where their going's gotten foggy and like they had this really beautiful direction at one point and they've kind of lost it. And sometimes what has happened is they've lost the trust in themselves along the way. So what makes me qualified to do this, because I think you should probably always talk about like what gives you any authority to speak on this. One is that I was a clinical social worker for over 20 years in private practice for like 13 to 15 years of that. Forgive me because I don't even remember the math and the dates. But I have been a clinical social worker for over 22 years now, I believe. And I also have a whole host of different healing modalities that I love to use that I've been certified and trained in. And so what I really do is a choose your own adventure style process where I walk you through your layers. We walk through the different layers of who you are and we get you clear about what you're wanting to do at this point in your life in this very season that you're in. Okay, so that's what I do. So today we're going to talk about trust, and I'm going to redefine it because if you know me, you know that I love acronyms and acrostics and all that jam. So I define trust as this: trailblaze to redefine your commitment to up level as you stand in your truth. So one of the things that I think that's really tough about midlife, and I've experienced this myself, I've experienced it in my friends, is that we can kind of gaslight ourselves. We can kind of get to a space where we don't necessarily have interactions with ourselves like we would with a friend. Like we are definitely hard on ourselves. We have thoughts that don't support us. We wonder like what's wrong with us, if what's broken in us, if we're not satisfied with having this really high level successful career or business. You're doing all these things, you have all this success and you still don't feel it, right? And it can feel really isolating. And I know that's where I was when I was 40. That's how I landed in this camp of working with women is I was her at 40 and I left my private practice because of that experience. So, and I will be honest with you, I think there was a minute where I think for a while, I'm going to be honest, I know this. For a while, I did not want to do collaborations and I definitely did not want to work with other people because I did not trust myself to know what was good for me, because I had a really, really hard experience in my business. And I don't talk a lot about it because I just don't really like spreading that kind of energy out in the world, but I'm just going to say it was really, really, really hard. And when I left, I was like, I'll just do business myself. Like I'm serious when I say like, I was like, I'm not doing anything. Now I'm in a whole different place and I've done a lot of healing work. But I just want to say, I know I came out of the other side of that, not sure I could trust myself. How did I think this was my space, my dream to get here and then be bitchy enough to be like, oh, this isn't good enough. What is wrong with me? And so I really do believe that with time, we can kind of move away from trusting ourselves and our instincts and our intuition and listening. I knew I needed to move out of that practice. I knew it. I didn't listen. I knew it. I knew it in my body. I knew it in my heart. I knew it in my head. And I was talking myself out of it because I felt a responsibility to be there. And so I know what happened in my journey, and yours is going to maybe look something like that or maybe completely different. We want to talk about today is two pieces. One is in trusting yourself, start bringing awareness, and awareness is huge. You're going to notice I talk a lot about awareness, and what that means is that we take ourselves off autopilot, which is really scary because autopilot's a really lovely place to be, is it not? Right? We just push the button, we sit back, and like life unfolds. And sometimes there's so many things in our lives going on, it's easier to numb out and just like have that experience and like, no, I don't really need to be present, but it's fine. Only you do want to be present. When we get in that autopilot space, I think it's a space of almost like numbing out. And not really being fully present to what's going on, right? And I know for me, that was what happened. And then it was like, I lost my inspiration, I lost my motivation, I lost my drive, my direction, like everything kind of went to shit, which I think is what happens, right? We don't want to be on autopilot. So self-awareness is a bigger deal than I make it sound here. It's like, oh, self-awareness, right? No, it's really kind of a thing. So I want you to lean into that. And what I want you to do is give yourself a moment to like bring awareness as to how often you listen to your internal compass, your knowing, and your intuition. You can kind of clump them together. So scale of 0 to 10, 0 is never, never, never. 10 is like, every single thing I do is coming from that space, okay? So again, no judgment, just wanting to lean you into how aware are you of how much time, energy you're spending, when are you listening and when are you not? I can't tell you how many times I've caught myself not listening. So many. If I have time to tell you a story about that today, I will. Otherwise, I'll come back and circle back to it. It's a great story. I'm going to tell it now because I'll forget. I'm like, I'll tell you now because this is midlife. What the hell am I talking? I'm going to forget in 2 minutes. You know, one of the things that's really interesting just recently was I was doing a healing session with my healer, not offering it. And I said, I've really become aware that my body has been telling me for a really long time that something wasn't fitting for me. And I was not listening. I was literally dismissing. I'm like, what in the hell was I doing? That I knew with absolute clarity that there was something going on in my life that was not working and I was not freaking listening. And so I just want to say that I think this is a perpetual piece of practice. That was a lot of P's. That was a lot of alliteration for you alliteration fools out there that love that kind of sound. Oh, it's a lot of practice to be aware of these pieces, right? So if you are really in a space of wanting to grow yourself, these are the kinds of questions I want you to ask yourself. So it's a bigger thing than even I make it sound like. And I do it too. I have to do this very same work I'm asking you to do. 2, challenge yourself this week to lean into the sense of things. And so I said, things like, that's a quirky outfit I wouldn't normally wear it. That's a funky piece of jewelry I wouldn't necessarily, always wear, but I'm going to try it. This is a place that I haven't eaten, but I'm going to go there. Why do I feel compelled today to go tell that person that they look really nice? Today I feel like I'm being drawn to stay home and I'm not sure why, but instead of like talking myself into going to the office, I'm going to allow myself that space. So listen, on a very grand scheme, this is a story that's been told by my friend, so I'm going to tell it, and it's something that she's told on my podcast. I'm not sharing a trade secret, I promise, but a great story of a friend of mine. Her name is Jen, and she is from Oklahoma, and she actually worked in the Oklahoma City building. And the day that the Oklahoma City bombing went off, she was at home. She was not feeling well. She was talking herself into going into work, and she heard a voice inside her that said, do not go into work today. And I know some of you listening right now are going to be like, check please. And that's fine. If that does not roll for you, I totally get it. Full respect. If you're still listening, you know what I'm talking about. I completely believe that those things happen. 100%. First of all, Jen's the most believable story. When you hear her tell it, she's being completely honest. I absolutely believe that when we are tuned in to ourselves, our bodies, our spirits, we are much more accessible to hearing the kinds of messages like Jen got. It literally saved her life. And so I know it's kind of a melodramatic, right, story, but I feel like it's so pertinent to what I'm trying to get at here, which is this is so important for you to consider. Like that was life or death. Most of our decisions and our intuitions are not that serious, but we also want to respect that. How do we know when that's going to show up, right? Thank God she listened. And that was hard for her because she lost people in that entire tragedy. So that's kind of, I get it. I don't want to dismiss that that's a piece of the story as well. And her intuition saved her life. And so to me, this is a piece where I want you to lean in to if there is a little niggle inside you that says you should do something this week, I want you to do it. I want you to just try it on for a week, fully listen to what you feel like is coming forward. If it doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. If you get an invite you don't want to go to, say no, thank you, right? It's all these pieces, like really, truly, I want you to just lean into like, what is the sense of what you should be doing and what do you feel driven to be doing for yourself? And so listen to that and give it a try. What happens when you do that? So I'm gonna invite you to journal if you're interested. This is fun. What happens when you do this? I would love to see you practice it for a week and then sit down with your journal and be like, what happened as a result of the fact that I was willing to lean in to just trusting my sense, like my senses and what I feel I'm supposed to be doing. I have this internal compass and I'm going to listen. So I would love to have you just speak to that for yourself. And so share with me if you would, if you're willing to share and be vulnerable, what's your score, 0 to 10, right? How aware are you of using your intuition on a regular basis, 0 to 10? And then if there are things where you've struggled with intuition, let me know. If you have a question, that's awesome. So for right now, if you're leaning in and you're listening to me and you're like, Jen, those are things that I really would like to do, but I don't trust myself. This is it, right? Trusting yourself begins with these tools, these 2 tools. Then I really invite you to hop on a call with me. I love doing a revolutionary midlife rise for purpose call. It's where we just get in and we chat about where you are, where you want to go, where these places are kind of a struggle for you, and help you start finding ways to start unraveling and unlocking those parts of yourself that are in there that are going to help you resolve and figure out how you want to move forward. That's really what I'm here for. So I would love for you to reach out to me. Let me know. You can send me a direct message. You can find me through my website, laughinglotuswellness.com. Whichever is great. You can always tap into me and be like, hey, I'd love to do one of those sessions that you talked about. Let's hop on, let's chat, and let's see if we can't get some of this started for you, at least get you moving in the right direction, because that's what I'm here to do. So I'm just hoping that you are surrounded blessings, love, and light, my friends. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. This is Jen, and I'm signing off till next time and supporting you to revolutionize your journey through midlife purpose as you rise and as you elevate that sense of you, the trust that you need to have in yourself and you can have in yourself if you lean into that space. So I want to hear all about how you're doing that. And until next time, everyone, take care.